jump into things at the level you're ready for, right? Like, let's try mass market scaling with cold traffic. Maybe we just do blank. Then let's try lookalike audience scaling, mass traffic again. Let's only focus on view content and keep things simple. We'll just focus on that later. Then we can get into the different demographics, trying to target athletes, trying to target boxers, trying to target moms, trying to target nerds. We can do that stuff later. But the main thing we need to do is continually test creatives 5 a week, absolute minimum. And every time you test them, always do them in groups of 5. So if I got 10 ads for 1 week, I'm just going to do 2 of these, 2 different separate ones where I'm testing the creatives. Everything should be in batches of 5. That's what I think is the best. Like having an ad group that has 20 ads in it. Facebook and TikTok don't like that too much. It's too much going on. Keep it at 5. I promise that's the sweet spot. So we talked a little bit about vertical scaling. I want to give you guys the numbers of how much you should duplicate by and how much you should really raise to make sure you're ready to go to the next round. So let's say, for example, we have a blank ad group and it's at $100 a day and it's doing really good. So we want to duplicate it and set it to $200 a day or $250, something around that. Then if that's doing good, we want to duplicate it to 500, then 750, then 1,000, then 2,000, then you can test 3.5 thousand and then 5,000. Usually you're not going to be able to get past 5K a day unless you are just like on fire, you're absolutely crushing it. It's a little bit more rare to do that, but this is how I go about vertical scaling. I will duplicate a new one. I'll keep the old one running. If it's working, do not turn it off. If anything's working, never ever turn it off. We'll go over stuff like that in like the managing ad groups section, because that's what we're going to talk about next. Yeah, when it comes to duplicating, make sure you duplicate and kind of go by those numbers. And we want to follow this number kind of schedule for our vertical scaling, our lookalike audience scaling, our interest scaling, all of that stuff. When it comes to retargeting, you can't really duplicate and do high budgets like this because retargeting, the audience size are very limited to people that have seen our ads. So we can't just say, hey, spend $500 a day on retargeting because there's not enough people for them to do that. So how do we know what budgets to do in retargeting? Usually the best thing to do is like if I'm retargeting people that have viewed content in the last 30 days, but they didn't purchase, let's just start that at $5 a day and we will be able to see where our ceiling's at. We'll scale, okay, we'll scale to $8 a day, $10 a day, $20 a day. And this one, I'll actually just raise the budget itself. I won't duplicate it. And usually you're gonna get a place where you raise to that point and it's like, results just fall off a cliff because you just don't have that many people to show ads to. So now Facebook's probably just showing it to random people. So hopefully that makes sense. When it comes to vertical scaling, it's very simple. Now let's talk over managing ads. How do we know when to turn something off? How do we know when to scale something up? This is really important. A lot of people get tripped up on this. A lot of people get scared, intimidated. They don't know if they're making good decisions or bad decisions. They don't know what data to really look at. So let's really dive in depth here. First things first, this is something my old mentor taught me. Only change things on your ad account every 3 days. This is kind of hard to follow, right? Because if we set something up that has a $500 daily budget, this is the highest we've ever done. Obviously, we're going to be in there monitoring it, making sure the ads are getting a good amount of spend. We're getting out the bad ads. We're putting in the new good ones. We're cycling it, all that good stuff. But when it comes to like ad groups and making like big decisions of like turning something off or on, try to make those big decisions every 3 days if possible, because we want to have, like, let's say we set up a new ad group, it's at $500 a day and we're constantly cycling the video ads. That's never going to change. But if we're trying to decide like, can this ad group take a $500 budget? We want to usually give it at least 3 days of cycling ads until we can see it level out. Because if we're just turning something on for a day, we cycle in like 2 video ads, because let's say like one video ad soaked up all the spend, but it wasn't good. So we cycled out a new one and we had to do that 2 times in one day. And then we're like, oh, this doesn't work. Throw it away. You didn't really give it enough time. So usually 3-day time periods are like your best friend. It's also going to help you make decisions out of logic and not like fear-based stuff of like, oh, it's not working, let's just turn it off. Obviously, we don't want to waste money. So make sure you're checking like your break even, your ROAS, your cost per purchases, and you're making logical decisions there, but you're not just being like super snappy, emotional, reactive, because it's really easy to log and be like, oh, we're down for the day. All right, we got to turn everything off and just get really emotional and scared and think of in fear and doubt. And that's when your frequency lowers and you're just going to be making stupid decisions. So here's a scenario. Let's think we've had an ad group that's been going for 20 days and it seemed to have pretty good results. For us to check how good the results actually are, we need to first go into a 7-day time frame period. So once we have our ad in that 7-day time period, we're going to be looking for the break even number basically. So if you're break even for your product, for mine, it's like $30, $35 for this. I'm going to be looking at all of my video ads within that ad group and say, okay, am I getting a purchase for basically every time I spend $35 is a new purchase coming in? So that's kind of testing our break even point. Like, hey, every time we spend our break even, are we getting a new sale? You can also look at your cost per purchase. That's going to say, hey, we have to spend this much to get a purchase. It's basically your amount spent divided by your amount of purchases. So you want to check that number and say, hey, are we profitable? Like, is our cost per purchase like $70? Because we need to get a purchase every $35. So obviously that's not really making too much money. If you're a little bit over on your cost per purchase, it's fine, because you also have to factor in this. We're testing, right? Like, a lot of this stuff is just us testing. So once we have things optimized, like, hey, we have our best video ads in, we're really starting to pump now, our cost per purchase is going to go from 60 down to 20 really quick, because now we're optimized. So that's a really big thing, is everyone thinks straight out of the gate, day one testing, they're going to be profitable. And if they're not, they're a failure. They're a loser. This is a shit product. Let's start a whole new brand. Let's start a whole new product. This is fucking dumb. And they just throw away the baby with the bathwater. And it's like, holy shit, dude. Like, you just barely tested your first thing. Like, this is like a week-long process, 2-week-long process. Like, don't kill your whole brand and everything you've just worked on. You need to give it some time. So keep in mind, in the testing phase, it's okay to lose money. When I was testing my first ads, I definitely wasn't making money. But remember, I found that asset, which is like, hey, this video ad's working. Like, our ROAS on this video ad's like 4. That is huge. That's a really big asset. So by the time I cycle out all my bad video ads, get my good video ads in, then we're going to go from unprofitable to profitable really quick on our ad group level. I hope that makes sense. But also keep this in mind. Anytime we're making decisions of when to turn things off or on, we're doing it at the ad level, right? The only time we're going to change things at the ad group level is if we've cycled out all our videos and we have like no more videos to do. Like, let's say I'm testing the gamer angle of like, hey, are you sitting at the computer all day and your shoulder hurts or your neck hurts? And I ran out of all my videos for that type of marketing angle. Then I need to turn the ad group off. But we want to not turn ad groups off. We want to keep them on as long as we can. We want to keep cycling in videos for them to keep them healthy and keep them alive, like blood does for our body, like I've been saying a million times. Because every ad group has its own like personality. It's like its own little entity. And if you turn it off, it's never going to really work the same. So anytime we decide to kill an ad group or to duplicate an ad group to a higher budget, think of it like a kid. Like, you're either killing that kid, it doesn't work anymore, or if you're duplicating and raising the budgets, you're like having a new kid. So you need to nurture it with more video ads and all this stuff. So it's a good way to think of it, because it's like resource allocation. Like, do we have enough video ads to scale? Do we have enough kind of videos in inventory to keep feeding these ad groups? Huge tangent there. But another thing we can look at when we're trying to see, is our ad group doing good? Is our video ads doing good? Is the ROAS. Obviously, we need to be floating above the ROAS on our cog sheet. I think for me, the ROAS is like around a 1.2 to 1.3. So in the end of the day, we want to come in on our 7-day time frame, look at our cost per purchases, understand what our break even is, and see if that's kind of close to the cost per purchase. And we want to check our ROAS on the 7-day time frame and say, hey, are we looking good? Are we way low? Are we way higher? And we're not going to make any decisions. We now checked the 7-day time frame. Now we're going to check the 5-day time frame. We're going to go through everything again, the same thing, 5-day time frame, and we're doing this on the ad level with the creatives. Everything we're testing the creatives. Once we tested our 5-day time frame and we understand what that data looks like, we understand what the 7-day time frame data looks like. Now we're going to test the 3-day time frame and see how all of this data as a group. Then after we've seen all the time frames, 3-day, 5-day, and 7-day, we're going to kind of tie all of that information together and make decisions based off that. Now, the reason we want to do that is we could have a video ad that has been performing so good, but it's on a steep decline. It's starting to die really fast and we need to switch it out. But if we just look at the 7-day time frame, the ROAS could still be huge. We're like, oh, this thing's working really good. Then you go check the 5-day and you're like, oh, this video ad's not doing too good. Then you go check the 3-day time frame and it's doing really bad. And also, you should also do the 1-day time frame. So Do a 1 day, a 3 day, a 5 day, and a 7 day, and make your decisions based on all of this data put together. It's really, really important. And guys, that is basically everything you need to know when it comes to scaling. There is a lot of different elements to handle, but you should have the tools and the foundations to understand where to take things, where to raise budgets, where to lower them, the process of cycling in blood, new videos into your ad groups, and just making proper decisions when it comes to scaling your cold traffic, scaling your lookalike audiences, scaling your interest-based ad groups, scaling your demographics where you're only targeting football players, moms, nerds, and utilizing all this information, all these tools to juggle all of that, doing your retargeting and your omnipresence, and also having someone take care of your email marketing, your SMS marketing. And you can really see how this turns into a full-fledged company, a full-fledged brand that has a lot of different things to worry about, and we're getting a ton of sales from all of these different angles. Can also jump in later to Google ads, and we can hire someone to take care of our Facebook ads. We can hire someone to take care of our TikTok ads. We can start getting into YouTube ads, Snapchat ads, Pinterest ads even, all while someone is crushing our email and SMS targeting. So this is scaling at a bird's eye view. We want to be working on all the different platforms, utilizing all of these different methods. We have cycles, we have systems that get us a ton of UGC videos, systems that get us a ton of scaling, systems that get us a ton of influencer videos. And I hope you're starting to see the big picture now. Then once we've dialed in our scaling, the next process we need to do is build out our teams. And that's exactly what we're going over in the next video. I will see you guys in there. Welcome into another video, guys. Today is a really important one where we're going to be going over tracking data. So this is really important. Once we're gaining traction with those TikTok ads, with those Facebook ads, we're really starting to build out our numbers. We're hitting $1,000 days and we're starting to get into the profitable section of running our ads where we're kind of breaking through that testing phase. It's extremely, extremely important to have the two things that I'm going to be going over in this video, and that's going to be data tracking through Triple Whale and profit tracking through BeProfit. And I don't want to waste any of your guys' time, so let's get into the video. So guys, the first thing we're going to be going over is BeProfit, and this is going to help us track our profit margin. This app is absolutely amazing, and it's extremely essential to understand how much you're actually making. It's going to grab all of the data from your different advertising channels, product costs, your payment processing fees even, and it's going to tell you in a very nice analytic dashboard what your profits are each day, each month, and you just can't really run a store without this. So make sure you click the link below this video. Again, remember, these affiliate links are the only way I'm able to do this free course for you guys. So please make sure you click and utilize those. So once you click the link below, go through a couple of their questions. They're going to be sent to a dashboard that looks like this. Get all signed up, answer a couple questions, pretty easy process. And yeah, you're going to do a couple more questions. So for me, I guess I'm in electronics. Ad platforms, I'm currently utilizing Facebook and TikTok. Klaviyo, I don't have set up yet, and I don't think I'm going to for the store just because it's an example store primarily. And it's really easy, seamless integrations with the actual accounts. So you're going to log into your Facebook account, it's going to pull all the data. You're going to log into your TikTok account, it's going to pull all the data, which is unbelievable and extremely seamless, and just one of the best processes about BeProfit. When it comes to asking about your inventory, you can just put other on all of these. You can hit other on shipping as well. But if you for some reason are working with a different 3PL, which I really don't recommend, but if you are and they charge you shipping, you can have the expenses listed here. Cool. And my COGS are extremely easy to manage because we just have one product. This costs $0, the warranty, and we have $15 cost for that. So we can just hit next. We're not doing shop pay, so we don't have to kind of put in any of these transaction or fixed fees. We can just do the auto Shopify one. And you can even integrate your Google Sheets if you have any info there, any data that you want, which is just crazy. It's also going to factor in your Shopify monthly $30 cost. So they just think of everything. And you can jump in here and make some exclusions if your store is unique and there's some things that you need to kind of manually put in. And here are the different pricing options for BeProfit. It basically just goes over your monthly orders. So this is the yearly pricing. We're obviously going to go to monthly, and they basically make you pay depending on how many orders you get, which kind of sucks. But if you're getting a ton of orders, then 150 really isn't too much. And there is a lot of data that needs to be processed. So these prices are pretty reasonable, honestly. And I can promise this is the the absolute best software when it comes to tracking, getting all your numbers, pricing, the amount of information, the accuracy on the information. So trust me, this is worth it. You're just going to have to pay whatever amount is required based on how many orders you're getting. So that is BeProfit. That wraps up everything there. Pretty easy process. It's going to track everything. It's very seamless, very easy to understand what's going on, very easy to change data. And I can promise you it's the best option out there when it comes to tracking your profits. Again, please make sure to use the affiliate links. It does help me out a ton. Now, the next thing we absolutely need, this is a little bit more later game. This one's a little bit more expensive. So unless you're making a couple thousand with your store each day and you're hitting profit margins, I wouldn't really recommend this next one until you're kind of hitting that range. This is Triple Whale, and this is going to give you unbelievable data when it comes to tracking your analytics on your advertisements. It's no secret that the Facebook pixel, the TikTok pixel, and their forms of like algorithms and tracking and data is extremely bad. They're going to tell you that this ad made the sale when it really was something else, and the data gets all meshed together. It's not really correct. And I can promise you, seeing your data and analytics from TikTok versus seeing it from Triple Whale is just a night and day difference. They are going to give you absolutely anything and everything that you need to make proper decisions when it comes to managing your ads. And I can't explain how valuable that is, because if I have $1,000 ad group that's pumping out sales, but it's actually not getting the correct data, then it could look like it lost profitability and I would need to turn it off. But potentially if I had the correct data, like when we're using Triple Whale, then I could have seen that that's still actually profitable and I wouldn't have turned it off. I would have kept $1,000 ad group going that's profitable, potentially making me hundreds of dollars a day in profit. And if I didn't have the right data and tracking, I would have completely lost it. And that is exactly why Triple Whale is an absolute necessity. And when you're getting to the higher levels of the game of doing $10,000 days, $20,000 days, and you're not utilizing Triple Whale, you're not utilizing correct data, you could be making wrong decisions that are worth $10,000, $20,000, potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars prolonged through the rest of the year. So Triple Whale is a pretty expensive product. It's around $400 a month, but the amount of value that you get from it is truly immeasurable, especially when you're doing multiple 5-figure days, when you're in like the $5,000, $10,000 day range. You just absolutely need it, and it's really hard to say how much it's making you because it really is saving you a ton, but it's also helping you maximize your potential with correct analytics to make good decisions that help grow the company. So let's jump into Triple Whale and see everything that they offer. So when it comes to pricing, they have the Triple Whale dashboard, attribution, and Full Whale. Personally, I recommend the Full Whale. The amount of information and data that you're getting is well worth $400 a month because you're going to be spending that much a day on ads. You'll be spending thousands a day on ads. So to have the right data for only $400 a month it's just a no-brainer. When it comes to the dashboard and attribution, I really wouldn't recommend them at all. Full Whale is definitely what you need. They have a creative cockpit, which if you go to product, you can see is a creative dashboard. They're the first people to do this that shows you the analytics of your specific creatives over all of the platforms, showing you, hey, this creative's your best, this is your worst. So we don't have to make these guess decisions. We can see it with very deep analytics and custom made dashboards that are designed to help us make those decisions. They also have their own pixel, which is integrated in the Full Whale, and that's going to be what's giving you actual correct data. They have post-purchase surveys, profit tracking, full expense management, real-time blended ROAS, which is very big. This is telling you the true data. This is where most of the value is. If someone first saw this ad, but then they later saw another ad and purchased from this ad, it's going to let you know that. It's going to give you the data of saying, hey, you had to pay for 2 ads to get this guy to purchase. And it's going to analyze that stuff, which is just crazy. This is like going from 3D tracking to like 4D tracking and really understanding every aspect and element when it comes to your paid ad funnels and how much money you're actually making. Triple Whale also seamlessly integrates with anything and everything you could think of. And here is a list of all of the services here on the left. I can promise you this is the absolute best in the game. And once you are scaling up your store, there's no way you can survive without this. There's no way you can scale without it. So if the time is there for you where you're ready to take it to the next level, you need better data, you're spending a lot on ads, then please make sure you click the link below and get BeProfit and Triple Whale. These are absolutely essential for scaling scaling up your store, you just can't get away without them. And please click those affiliate links. It does help me out extremely. Now, Triple Whale is a very simple software. It's also very complex, but they've made it very simple through their dashboards and user interface, user experience. But if you're still needing some information, you're still needing some help on what to really do once you're inside Triple Whale, then make sure you Google the Triple Whale University and come here, and they have a full-blown course on exactly how to use Triple Whale. So I would love to come in and help coach you guys on what to do, but there's really no one better than the people that work with the company to show you how to use it. And these guys are truly the experts. They help design the software, and they really know how to teach you the ins and outs of it way better than I could. I really recommend, once you get Triple Whale, to come in here, go through their free course here, and make sure you understand the ins and outs to a T, because this is going to be something that could potentially make you millions of dollars. If you're running a brand that's doing 10 million a year and you have Triple Whale that's giving you all of this perfect data and information, that's going to be like the catalyst as to why you made it to 10 million, because you got the correct data to make the correct decisions. But make sure you come here to Triple Whale University if you ever have any questions, you're ever curious about what a feature is actually doing. And once you're signed on, they have amazing support you can reach out to. Triple Whale is actually very impressive with their support. So guys, that wraps up everything when it comes to tracking data, getting the correct analytics, understanding your profits, and really making those solid decisions when it comes to your advertisements. Please make sure you use those affiliate links, and if you have any questions, hit me up in the community group. And I will see you in the next videos. Peace. Welcome into today's video. We are going to be going over legal structures. This is a topic that you definitely need to handle, but I will admit it's a topic that you can kind of wait to handle until you're at least getting some traction, you're getting some sales, you're at least moving a little bit with your store. When it comes to legal structures, there's not a ton of things we need to do, but the things that we do need to do are extremely important. That's create an LLC, get a business license, which you're most likely going to have to do, but it is kind of based on your state, your city, your location. So make sure you're looking for your city's guidelines, and I'll show you how to do that. And the last thing is basically hiring a CPA that's a professional that knows how to handle our taxes and is familiar with taxes for e-commerce businesses. And I will show you how to do all of these. So without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys, so we are on the Northwest Registered Agent website, and these are going to be the people that I recommend the most for getting your LLC created. We kind of covered them in another video just very briefly, but I'm going to do a full walkthrough of how you can start your LLC right now, and it's extremely important. You have to do it. So you want to hit this button, Start an LLC, and the button to get to the website is here. It's an affiliate link. It should give you lower pricing. It will give you any deal that they have. It will auto apply through that link, so make sure you click that link below and then follow along. So we want to hit Start an LLC, and we want to hit Hire Us will do it for you, because we don't want to mess anything up. We don't want to have a legal structure set up and then have to redo it later, or go in and make these edits and changes and have to get on long phone calls with our local government. For me, it's like Salt Lake City's government, and trying to contact them and change things if information's wrong, or getting fees for things being wrong later down the line is just not worth it. So we want to set up an LLC. We want to click our state. I'm out in Utah, and it's going to give you your pricing. You don't need to do 2-day processing. That's probably a lot of money. Yeah, it's just not necessary, but $279 is extremely cheap to have everything taken care of for you. I mean everything. They're going to literally mail all of your paperwork, everything filed, done, organized for you. And basically all you need to do is hit continue and start giving them information that they need to do it on your behalf. The first thing is naming your LLC. And honestly, like, I wouldn't name it anything crazy. Name it something like your last name Holdings, LLC or something. Like, for example, it does not matter. Your LLC name is only going to show up on your Amex cards and your tax stuff. And like, it's just really not that important. And eventually later down the line, you want to get into structures of owning a estate that owns your LLC that you are a beneficiary under, and really big complicated legal structures. So it's best to just act like this is a holding LLC. Name it something Holdings, anything Top G Holdings, like anything you want. It really doesn't matter too much. It's not going going to really be seen anywhere. And basically just go through the process with them. It's going to be super simple, super easy, $280, and all of your legal stuff is taken care of. You just want to make sure that you're filing for an LLC and not like an S Corp or anything. You'll get into an S Corp later down the line. If you have a good CPA, they will coach you. And there is benefits to having an S Corp. It's going to lower your taxes. It's basically an LLC, but you're paying yourself a salary. So it helps with your taxes, and it's going to basically lower the amount you have to pay each year. But we don't have to do that right now. We just need an LLC set up. So that is the LLC out of the way. You can reach out to them. They're going to help you with any questions at all. It's going to be a pretty simple, easy process. Now we need to move on to our business license. There might be some cities, some states in the United States that don't need a business license to conduct business, but I'm pretty sure most of them do. The city, Salt Lake City, that's in Utah definitely requires it. I think the entire state of Utah requires it. And you can kind of look up, like, insert your city, like, can I run an e-commerce online business in this city without a business license? And most likely it's going to say you need one. So just look up your city business license and just go to the .gov link and follow that. And it should be a really easy process there. I think mine costs like $28 for my business license, and I just have to renew it every year. Really not that big of a deal. It's just another way that they're trying to get more money out of you. So make sure you get both of those done at the same time. Just get them out of the way. If you're starting to see traction in your store, you need to just have this done where you don't have to worry about it. The next thing you need to do that I didn't actually talk about too much is manage your expenses. It's really, really good to have the tracking system set up that are logging all of your expenses, all of your ad spend, and just go create a Google sheet really quick. I'm telling you guys, it can be this basic. It will help things out, and it will help you mentally just understand what's going on. Obviously, we're going to be using True Profit, Triple Whale, like all these other tracking systems to really ensure that we are understanding our profit and our numbers. But if you have expenses that you know can be a business expense, like for example, this big microphone, my cameras, my computers, all of this stuff is business expenses. Once you find a CPA, which we'll go over next, they can really talk you through, this is an expense, this isn't, make sure you do these things, and they'll help you set up a protocol to best keep track of everything. Usually they're going to have automated systems. My CPA has like an online little tracking system that has all of my card info in there, and it tracks all my purchases, and then they create algorithms that kind of label things like, hey, if he purchases from here, label that as an expense automatically. And then at the end of the year, me and him just go over it and try to add in any other expenses we can. Your CPA should be able to do something similar. But in your early days, it's going to help if you just make a very basic expenses spreadsheet, note down each month, and just go through like, hey, I spent $30 on Shopify. I spent $100 on TikTok ads. I ordered the product from Amazon for $40. I spent this much on Debutify, or this much on these other necessary softwares that we need. Just write them down. It's going to help your mind really understand what's going on. And then when you back that with all the information that you get from Triple Whale and other analytic-based services for tracking, it's going to really help you see a bigger picture. And when it comes to tax stuff, it's just going to be a little bit easier for you. Now, the big part, hiring a CPA, you need to hire a professional to do your taxes. Don't try to do it yourself. I can't give any legal advice. None of this is legal advice, by the way. I'm not in any way someone that can give advice when it comes to legal matters, taxes, anything. But I think a CPA needs to come at a certain point based off my experience, my recommendation. If you're doing like really, really low numbers, you can probably handle it yourself. You don't need to go, like if you lost money drop shipping your first year from all your expenses and it's not panning out just yet, don't really worry too much about going and hiring a CPA for $500 a month or $1,000 a month to handle this when it's like, obviously we don't need that yet. So make sure you're getting traction with your store before you outsource a big expense like this each month of like hiring a professional. So I can't tell you when, but you should know when you need it. When your store's getting traction, it's consistent, you're looking into like branding long-term and stuff, then you definitely should have a CPA on lock. Hopefully I found mine for like around $500 a month. Hopefully you guys can do something similar to that. I think that's very obtainable, but let me show you how you could find one. All right. So I just went to Google and typed Salt Lake City CPA, and you can basically start seeing Google's recommendations based on their reviews. And obviously you want to take these reviews very seriously and just start calling people up. Hey, do you have experience with e-commerce clients? I run dropshipping stores. I run e-commerce brands.
and I need someone to really help me with not only just my taxes and accounting structures, but I need someone that can advise me on things of like, hey, make sure this is listed in expense, or make sure you're taking these actions to lower your tax bill each month. Like, hey, you're making a decent amount, let's move into an S corp. Like, you want someone that can advise you in these things, and you want someone local that you can go meet up with, get on the phone with easy, and build a relationship with. So look local first. That's 100% what I'd recommend. And if you're in the community group and you're really struggling, you can't find someone, I will reach out to my CPA personally and see if they can onboard you guys. We'll try to get something in the works. But yes, look around in your local area for a professional CPA. Check the reviews, people that look good, give them a call and say, hey, I do e-commerce. Are you guys specialized in this? Do you know, have you had like e-commerce clients in the past? Do you know the landscape? So I don't really have to like coach you guys. You can coach me on what to do. And it's going to be a pretty easy process. Once you find someone good, it's kind of a breath of fresh air, especially when you're making a good amount with your store and you only have to pay $500 a month to get everything handled. It's pretty nice. Everything you need to know in the early days of legal structures. Obviously, there are huge things later down the line, but when you're running an e-commerce brand, this is basically all you need. This is the essentials. And once you have this done, you have a pretty long headway. With all of this handled, you're not going to really have to worry about legal stuff too much until you're really getting to huge brand levels of like creating contracts with certain influencers, if you're doing like a revenue share or splits and stuff like that. And you can easily reach out to a business professional to help them create contracts for you and do things like that. So you really shouldn't have too many other legal issues until you're getting to the point of like really bringing in multiple 6 figures, multiple 7 figures a month. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Your action steps are to go set up your business license, your LLC, go find a CPA if the time is right for you, and make sure you get organized. Have like a little monthly spreadsheet like we went over, going over your rough expenses, and make sure you're always checking your analytics, your information from your tracking softwares that you use on your store, and you should be really good to go, and taxes shouldn't be too hard when that time comes. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next ones. Peace. All right, guys, welcome into the dreaded bonus module. You probably picked whatever video you wanted, so this might not be the first video you've seen when it comes to this bonus module and putting out fires and any issues you might be having with your store. First issue I want to talk about in this one is any Shopify related issues, and right now I'm having a pretty big one. It's a payment related issue mixed in with a Shopify related issue. So to give you the full rundown, my store got put on payment holds so they could review it to make sure I'm not scamming people. They wanted the tracking codes of the orders. They wanted to see like inventory. So it took me a while. It took me like 5 days to get those images from the suppliers, organize all the tracking codes. They also wanted some legal info on my business, so I had to provide that as well. And overall, it took me like 5 days to get it to them, and that's including a weekend. And they shut down my store. They fully made it inactive. It's completely taken down because I didn't get the information fast enough to them. And what's really annoying is I was logging in to put in all that information, and I can see on my emails that an hour before I tried to log in, they made my store inactive. So if I was an hour quicker, I wouldn't have had my store down, and my store got taken down as I was scaling up to 2K a day in ad spend. And I can't turn the ads off or it extremely negatively affects all of the ads moving forward. They don't optimize like ever again, because when you turn off ads, they get extremely unoptimized. They never really go back to the numbers they were doing, and it completely derails everything that you're doing. But now that it's been 2 days, Shopify still is not replying to me. I gave them all the information they want and they're still not replying. So I had to turn the ads off, or else I would have been down 4K by this time right now. And I've just been hounding them on the chat support system, and they are still not really replying. They don't really seem to care. So I guess I just have to wait. If it keeps going for a couple more days, this is going to be absolutely insane. But yeah, this is some of the business issues you have to deal with. I have gone through countless of them. I've had so many stores shut down for issues like this. I've had payment processors like Stripe and PayPal ban me, and I've lost 18K, 30K, or even more in all of these issues. I've had Facebook ban me. There's really just a countless amount of issues that come up within business, and this is just one of them. So the main advice I can give is if they give you that payment hold thing, you need to get that information to them ASAP. I've never had this issue before, this specific one where they shut me down for not replying. But yeah, all of my ads, I spent like 2K yesterday on ads that were running to a store that doesn't exist because they took it down. So extremely bullshit, but that's the price of doing business. You're not really in control with a lot of things when it comes down to it, which sucks. But yeah, yeah, that's one of the issues. I'm sure this video is going to be filled with a ton more issues as I come across them, or any issues that I want to teach you guys on to make sure you avoid, but that's just the one that I have for right now. All right, guys, so I finally resolved the Shopify issue. This took multiple days. They shut me down on the 6th, and I just got it back the 10th. This morning, it's 11:30 a.m., and I want to go over what the process was. Basically, I had to give them all the information. I should have done it way sooner when it came to the payment processing, all the stuff on hold. I should have got the information to them way quicker. I think it took me like maybe 10 business days, maybe 5, something around that time period. But it was also over the weekend, and I was waiting to get those tracking codes and a lot of the shipping information and images from the manufacturer, the 3PL I was working with. So it took me some time, and I replied to them. They got my account back pretty quick, but then I still had the Shopify payments taken down, so I couldn't restart my ads. I couldn't do anything. And now finally today, 4 business days later, we are fully ready to go. Everything's back up and normal, and I really had to hassle them on the email, like just replying to their legal email, and then also jumping in the Shopify support and begging with them to escalate it and reach out to someone. And I basically think they did nothing the entire time. You just have to wait for the email. I don't think support's going to help you at all. But I want to talk about what to do once you get back, because you had to turn all your ads off if you went through this issue. So basically what I did is I just set up restart campaigns that I duplicated. When you tick these back on, they are never going to get the same results, and the data is very all over the place. It's going to be giving you a lot of the past data, this current data, and it's basically like 2 different things. The past data does not apply anymore once you retick something on. So this is going to be way more simple. My $100 ads, my $200 ads were doing really good. Some of this is kind of weird with the numbers, but the $200 a day ad was doing really good. So I duplicated a $100 one, and I duplicated a $200 budget. So we'll spend $300 in ad spend today. That's what I did on TikTok to kind of bounce back after the payment processor and Shopify takedowns. And on Facebook, I'm basically just duplicating my reels and doing the exact same thing here. I wasn't too far on Facebook because Facebook has that $50 starting thing. Once you go through the verification process with them and kind of verify like some documents, some identity, some data stuff that they want, then they'll up your budgets past $50 a day. So I did the verification. It's going to take like 2 days. It's really easy to do. So if you go to create a campaign, do sales, make sure you click manual setup. These automated setups are stupid. And if we go to next in the ad set level and try to do like a $100 daily budget, then we get this pop up. Probably seen it in the Facebook ad stuff. Just hit verify business here. It will go to a document that kind of walks you through the process. Super simple, super easy. It takes 2 business days for them to review you, and then you'll get higher budgets, which is really big, and you're going to need that. When it comes to resetting my Facebook ads, I'm just starting with Reels. Restarting it's going to do $50 a day until I get reapproved. Put all my videos in, and I will duplicate the story ones probably tomorrow, because I only have $50 a day to spend, and I don't want stories competing with Reels. So we'll just restart the Reels and kind of re-go through this process. All right, guys, welcome into today's video. This is jumping into how to get past payment processor issues, because I already have them on my store. So I'll open up my screen and kind of show you what I'm looking at today, logging into Shopify. All right, guys, so it's a good day and a bad day when you log into your Shopify and it looks like this. So when you see this from Shopify, it means basically that you're scaling super quick. So we've done just so far, I think almost 1,000 in sales in like a week. So we're doing really good. It's a great problem to have. We're excited about it, but we have our Shopify payments on hold as they review our account. And they basically just want to make sure that we're at least a high level drop shipper if we're doing drop shipping. That's basically all they want to know. So you have to upload documents to them. And it's not too fun, especially if you don't have your LLC set up. So this is why I recommended setting up your LLC day one. It's the best thing to do to just keep you safe, but also for verification, because Shopify wants to see a business license, business registration documents, anything they can, tax filing records, anything at all. Then they want to see proof of inventory, shipping information, and social media links. So this may sound super daunting or scary, but in the end of the day, this is some pretty basic stuff and we can handle it pretty easily. What we need to do is reach out first to our 3PL and say, hey, can you send proof of inventory? Can you send over shipping information? And then obviously you can just get your social media links and send those over to them. Since it's a file, you can just create like a Google document. For social media links, they do want a file, so you can just send them like a Google document that has like, here's our Instagram, here's the link, here's our TikTok, here's the link, all that stuff. Send them all the links you can. Proof of inventory and shipping information can easily be provided by the 3PL team. If you're not directly working with a 3PL just yet, if you're using DSers, Zendrop, or anything along those lines, it's going to be a little bit harder. You can reach out to the support that those companies should have to try to get some of this information. When it comes to proof of inventory, you can just show invoices from Zendrop or from whatever company you're using, like show credit card payments to them. I'm sure that should be fine. Overall, Shopify is pretty easily satisfied with you giving them stuff. The hardest thing is proof of business association if you don't have an LLC set up, if you don't have anything set up yet. And I don't know how strict they're going to be because I've always had an LLC. So I'm pretty sure you're going to have to file for an LLC and wait until the LLC documents like come in until you can show any proof of business license or registration. The easiest and fastest might be getting a business license through your city, which I'm pretty sure you're going to have to do anyway, depending on where you live, obviously. And they should be able to get you something pretty quick, and then you can show that to Shopify, and hopefully that helps them out. You can also show like that you filed for an LLC and you're just waiting for the information. That should satisfy them. But when it comes to proof of inventory, that should be super easy. Shipping information, just show them as many tracking numbers as you have, because right now we only have 13 orders. So they want to see 10 recent orders. And it's like, we kind of only have like 10 orders. So they should be pretty satisfied there easily. And we just barely got them. We've only been up for a week. And you can leave comments like that. Like, hey, we've only been up for a week. Don't have our business license organized yet, and kind of be in communication with them and see what they're okay with. If you already put that you have like business info in the settings, you definitely shouldn't have done that. You can say, hey, this is my first store. Like I just messed up. I'm not really too aware of exactly what's going on. Please help me get things organized. But worst case scenario, they're not going to be too happy with the stuff that you provide, which I haven't had that issue too much. So if they aren't really too satisfied and they want more things, it can kind of suck because they're going to pull this out for a while and hold your money for upwards of a month, 2 months, and they can even do 180 days. And they're going to try to act like they're going to hold your money for 180 days, but it's usually not the case. Like, you can always hound them and they're going to give you your money. Like, it's not going to be too much of an issue. The biggest thing I recommend is, honestly, if you're at the point where your money's really getting held and you do not have too much money to continually run ads, because for me, I can keep running ads. I don't really care if this money comes back to me, whatever time frame it does. Obviously, I want it to come back to me, but I don't really care if it takes even 2 months, even though I know that I can get them this information and they should have me back up doing payments, honestly, within a couple days. And if not, I'm going to hound the absolute shit out of them on the email support, on all of that stuff, to ensure that they unlock all my stuff, because they try to like safeguard it as much as they can, because in the end of the day, they just want to protect themselves. So they're definitely going to try to pull some weird shit when it comes to like holding your money for extended periods of time. But if you hound them, it's always worked out for me. So make sure you get them this information as soon as possible, and just have a conversation with them. Let them know the situation you're in and handle it the best you can. And obviously, if you're having any issues, come hit the community group and I'll be there to help you as best as I possibly can. This is a real issue, and it happens a lot when you have success. Like, when your store is taking off, you are going to get shut down almost no matter what. Even if you scale really, really slow, they're still going to say, hey, we want to verify all this information, and they will hold your payments. So when it comes to that situation where you can't really afford to keep running ads, just turn them off. It's going to suck, because when you turn off ads, they never really re-optimize and they never really get the old results that they did. So it's really sad. It really sucks. But the worst thing you can do is say, no, I can handle it, and keep putting it on credit cards when you don't have the money. Do not do that. It is not worth the potential financial gain and the risk of not knowing when you're going to get this money from Shopify. Like, if you're taking the risk of putting an extra $1,000, $2,000 on a credit card so you can fulfill your orders and still keep paying for your ads, and you're not getting any money back to pay it off, and you don't have that $1,000 or $2,000, that's a very scary situation to be, and it can just keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse. You're making good money on paper, but you're not getting that money for a long time, and you can't pay off your cards. So now you're getting debt, and it's when the interest rates start hitting, if you start missing payments, it can get extremely scary, and it's not worth making that couple extra $100 or $1,000 in the meantime. Like, just turn the ads off if you can't afford it. For me, I'm scaling my ads up still, even with the payment processor issue. I don't really care, because ultimately I've handled it before. I know how to handle it. I have my ducks in line, my ducks in a row, whatever the phrase is. I have my proof of business info. I can get the proof of inventory and shipping info very easily from the 3PL team, and we can quickly send them over the 3PL or the links to all our social media pages. So that's basically it. It's usually a pretty easy process to solve if you have the information. Getting it from the 3PL is pretty easy. The big things, the association, showing your business license, all that stuff. So make sure if you haven't that you click the link below and apply for your LLC. You guys really need to get your LLC organized. It shouldn't be too much of an expense, and it's going to save you and you're going to have it forever. So it's a long-term investment. It's absolutely necessary to business, and you should be able to tell Shopify, hey, we filed for it. We're still waiting for the number, and hopefully they can work something out with you where they release the payments and then you can show it to them later. But yeah, usually they're pretty easy to work with. Make sure you hound them if you're not getting your money back, if they're still holding it even though you've sent proof of everything, because they're not right to do that, and they will eventually release it if you just hound them long enough. So that basically wraps up this video. If I submit all these files and there's more issues, or I think there's other issues that you guys are going to go through that I need to cover, I'll make another video and add it into the end of this one. So the course will always update. There will always be new videos based on what you guys need. So hopefully that handles your problem. Don't let this stress you out too much. This is a good problem to have. You're scaling, you're growing, and this is business, right? This is why there's a putting fires out section. We are essentially overpaid firefighters. Like, there are problems 24/7 that just continually come up, and it's extremely annoying, but this is the price of business. And it's either this, you go clock into a 9 to 5, or keep going to college, or do something stupid like that. So enjoy the problems. Try to have a smile on your face. Try to get excited about the problems, because there's no use in stressing about them. They're just going to piss you off more and more, and it's just going to make your process harder, and honestly just lower your frequency. So keep your frequency high, stay motivated, stay excited. This is one of the many roadblocks that you'll face during your e-commerce journey. So yeah, if you still have any questions, please let me know in the community group, and I will see you in some of the next videos. Peace. All right, guys, welcome into another bonus module video of putting out fires. I know you're not happy to be here, but in this one, we're gonna go over payment holds and kind of how to handle them. So if you scaled up really quick, there is a 90% chance that Shopify shut down your payouts and basically stopped your store. And you obviously have to send them all the info they request. Make sure you do it in a timely manner, or they really will deactivate your entire store and you're really shut down. I go over that stuff on another video in the bonus module series. But in this one, right after you get your account back, they usually put your payouts on a hold. So it's usually like a 10 to 20% payment hold that you're not going to get those payments for like a very long time. These ones are scheduled for July, and today is March 17th. So yeah, they're holding $2,500 for a pretty long time just to ensure that we're not scamming anyone. And this is sadly a normal process. This is what happens. So we're inside my store, and as you can see, I have a $2,500 payment hold. I'm not sure what percentage this is, maybe like 20%, and it's not being paid out for a couple months. And sadly, this is a normal process. So this is something we need to handle. The best way to do it is just to go to Shopify chat support, talk to them, and they're not going to do anything. They're basically going to tell you how to handle it. And that's usually, hey, here's an email, talk to this person. But most likely what's going to happen is you need to email the legal team that first sent you the email saying that your payments are put on hold, or saying that, hey, we had to shut you down until you can give us a verified document of what's going on with your tracking, your LLC documents, all that stuff. So what I'm going to do is jump on chat support and talk to them and see, hey, what's the best way to handle this? Because they're always changing their processes, and you never know if there's some new way that they're trying to handle things. So you want to jump on there, but I'm also going to send an email out to the Shopify legal team that emailed me. You can find that email on the email that's registered with your store. So if you set it up just like I did, it should be your hello@brandname.com. Log into that email, type in Shopify. You should have an email from them, from their legal team. You can reply there, and basically all we need to do is hound them. Say, hey, what documentation do you need? We're running a legitimate legal business. We can show you all the tracking numbers. We've shipped everything out. Customers are happy, and you just need to hound them like this. Sadly, the payment hold is going to stay until the estimated date unless you just hound them. So I'm going to quickly jump in the Shopify support chat and just make sure that they tell me that talking to the legal team is the best solution. All right, guys, so I'm in the Shopify support. I'm talking with this guy, Tyler, and he said that the funds are on hold. So this is called a hold right here. And he's saying it's because we accepted high risk orders. We accepted payment for them. And I let him know that we do not do that. We email the customer. And if you guys are working with Omar, the virtual assistant, he will do this. They will get in contact with the person that made the high risk order. They will email them and say, hey, is this a legitimate order? Or did someone use your card and they're scamming? Or is someone taking advantage of using your card? Did your card information get out or something? Basically, you ask them, did you place this order? Obviously, when they say yes, you have to have them provide some proof, like a picture of them with their card with their name on it or something. And if they don't provide that, then you have to refund them, and it's a scam fraud order from someone who has stolen card information. So I let him know that we do not do that. I don't think that's really going to do anything. They don't really care, but I guess we processed an order that was high risk and that flagged something, but I'll keep you posted with what else he says. All right, guys. So he's trying to say that just because a high risk order came in, it could have triggered it and they don't have the ability to reserve it. They're just bullshitting. The Shopify support chat is plebs, bro. It is just straight like kids that have no clue about business, no clue what's going on. They don't even know how Shopify works. They're just told to say certain things to certain responses. So I told him, I don't know, I'm just kind of like fucking with him a little bit, honestly. But he mentioned that I should have gotten an email about the reserve and I didn't. So we'll see what he says. So Tyler the pleb tells me that I need to refer to my old email from my original issue with my payment processing being taken down. Exactly what I assumed. So I'm just going to go hound them on emails there. And it's not fun. It takes 2 to 3 business days usually just to get a reply from these fucking guys. So it completely sucks, but this is a part of the business that is just, Shopify has to do this. There's absolutely no way around it. And it sucks. There's no way to like scale slow and not really hit any of their red flags. Eventually you're going to hit a red flag. You're going to have to go through the payment processing issues, reserves, holds, and you're going to have to hound the fuck out of these people on email. And it sucks because they don't really care, but usually I kind of give them a bullshit story. I'm not going to lie. I'll kind of talk about like, I have kids to feed. This is how I pay my bills. I can't continually run my business if you're holding 25% of my money. And that's a very big issue. Like if you genuinely have some big bills and your Shopify store is your main income source and they're holding 25% of your income, that's basically all of your profit margin. And you can't continually run ads when you're not getting your profit margin. So it's a pretty big issue, but we're just going to have to hound them, keep telling them like, what information do you need? We're happy to follow any protocols. I need this money unlocked. We haven't done anything wrong. Tell them your story about your bills. This is your main income. You cannot continue to run this business without 25% of the income. It's a fourth of all of the revenue. It's a really big deal, or whatever percentage they have you held at. And sadly, that is all I can advise. All you can do is keep hounding them. That's absolutely it. It's not fun. It completely sucks. They take forever to reply. And this is one of the bigger headaches of the business. And it's something that once you're done, once you have this figured out, once you have handled your reserve, you got past it, the reserve's done, it's pretty much smooth sailing forever. Like you can start processing millions in sales a month and it's not going to have zero issues. But this is just something we all have to go through. It completely sucks. And I'm sorry I cannot provide more information. You're just going to have to hound them on the emails of the ticket ID of when you first got shut down, when you first had issues. Just going to have to reply to them there. I'm sorry I can't offer more solutions. This is just Shopify's process. So good luck with getting your reserve taken down. I am wishing you the best, truly. And if you need some more help, make sure you're reaching out in the community group. And I will see you in the other videos. Peace.